The business world is changing, and like it or not, there's no escaping the new normal. Join us today for another conversation with a small business. I'm Joel Slattis, and welcome to my podcast. Hello, I'm Joel Slattis, the CEO of Timesheets.com, and on today's episode of The New Normal, we're going to talk to Jonathan Chan, who is the Division Director for Parker & Lynch. They're a staffing agency, and Jonathan works primarily in finding financial people for companies. That would be accountants and other financial muscle. Jonathan, I want to thank you for coming in and sitting with me today for an interview.
Yeah, absolutely, Joel. So thanks for having me. So I work for a firm, as you know, called Parker & Lynch, and I'm the division director for both the executive search and consulting practices. So we're a professional services firm that focuses on special projects, high-level interim support and contract work within the finance, accounting, audit, and tax.
Okay. And how many people are you placing then, let's say, in a given month? Would that be a fair question?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, so it depends on the divisions, but we place anywhere from about 3 to maybe 8 individuals in any given month.
Okay. And in your area, what's your staffing look like? Like how pre-pandemic, how many people were working for your division?
For our division, pre-pandemic, it was about 10 consultants that we had on billing. And they ranged from multiple different bill rates and different positions as well.
Oh, okay. And then post-pandemic, have you been able to maintain your headcount?
Yeah, we had a bit of a drop, but we've seen an uptick most recently. We've been getting a lot more business, getting some more fills. So we dropped, I would say, maybe about 30%, but we're beginning to make that climb back up.
Okay. And would you say, what would be the biggest change that you guys had to make to stay in business while the pandemic was sort of raging? I mean, it's still kind of raging, but what would you say has changed the most from your...
I would say the ability to meet with clients and candidates in person. That's really a huge part of any business or anyone that's doing sales or recruiting, is really getting that face-to-face interaction. You're able to build relationships, strong relationships for that matter. And I think it gives you also a lot more control, both with candidates and clients, in terms of solidifying deals and closing down positions. So that's been a big challenge. And then communication as well with employees.
So have you worked around that, or do you still feel like you're at a detriment and you can't wait for it to get back to normal?
No, believe it or not, we've all acclimated, I think, as an industry and as an organization, hence the uptick back up to normal business revenues. But, acclimating ourselves to the virtual interviews, utilizing the technology that we've acquired has really helped us get back to normal.
Oh, that's interesting. So you almost might say it's not necessary to go back to the way you were doing things because you've acclimated so well to the changes that have come along.
Yeah, that's 100% correct. I mean, I miss the face-to-face interaction, both the camaraderie at work as well as the clients, but everyone's really adapting this new change that we have. And I think it's worked so far, and I don't see personally anyone returning back to work in the near future.
Now, we were talking a little bit earlier before the interview about your office situation, and you had mentioned that you guys actually gave up your lease. Is that right?
Yeah, that's correct. So I think for our organization as a whole, both for Adecco and Principals and Parker & Lynch, they've closed down a couple offices and ended some of the leases up and down California. And what that has done has freed up cash in order to retain some of the employees, so we don't have to go through a round of layoffs like other firms in our industry have already.
Right. And you're not going to go back to the office, right? You've basically decided you don't need it.
Yeah.
So that's a positive thing. I always like to ask people, towards the end of the interview, if they have found anything that they really feel is a positive that's come out. Because I personally think that there are a lot of positives, from, reduced traffic on the roads and not needing to go into an office. And, other people have said other things. So I know you guys are leaving your office, but are there any other tidbits that you would feel worthy of volunteering to me, that, positives that have come out from the coronavirus situation?
I mean, it's It's really helped us save some money, even though there was a drop of a drop in business a little. But I think, being able to be responsive and responsive to clients and candidates has been huge. We've been able to adapt and bring on new technologies that have proven to be successful. And I think more importantly for our employees, it's shown resilience, perseverance, and the ability to change, right? To adapt to challenging situations. So I think overall COVID-19, everything that's happened in the world and in terms of our organization and industry, it's kind of acting as an accelerant to working remotely and bringing on new tools. So as long as we're able to continue to adapt to the change, I think we'll all be successful overall.
Okay, so last question then. In 6 months from now, when hopefully things are back to normal and everyone's had their dose or their double dose of the vaccine, hopefully
Yeah.
there'll be a good vaccine. Do you anticipate any future changes, or are you guys pretty much operating the way you guys think that you'll operate into the future?
Yeah, we're operating now as we would in the future. Now, I don't know if we're going to be renting offices from WeWork down the line. I just don't see a need for that at the
Mhm.
moment. Everyone's been able to create their own home offices, and really adapt to that. So I think it's going to stay the same until further notice.
Yeah, that makes sense. And I kind of like that personally. I know we've done that around here. Do you have any tips for other business owners that are, dealing with the virus? Anything that's made it easy for you to run the business?
I just think be open to change, be open-minded. I think a lot of individuals are trying to, how do I say this, not roll with the punches. And I think that you're going to be left behind if you're not able to adapt. And so it's important to have an open mind, especially in the business world.
Perfect. Okay, well, listen, Jonathan, I really want to thank you for attending our little interview here. Um,
Thanks for having me.
yeah, and that's all the time we have. But like I said, I'd like to thank you very much. And if anybody's out there that needs some financial muscle and they're not ready for a full-time hire, they can talk to Jonathan Chan if they're in the Northern California area. And Jonathan's based in San Jose. I don't think I mentioned that, Jonathan.
Yeah.
But thanks for attending.
Yeah. Thanks for having me, Joel. Have a good day.
Alrighty.